traders from across the globe, and welcome to the 1367th edition of Short-Term Trading Live with Oscar Carboni, and of course that would be me. Good evening, traders. This 1367th edition of these nightly educational videos is coming to you on a Thursday night for September 4th, Friday, 2015. Traders, before we get into what's on the board and these crazy markets, you should know that futures trading is extremely risky, causes substantial financial loss. The volatility today is just out of control. If you do not have risk capital to lose, if you do not recognize the game you're in, and if you do not put your stops first, you should run from the video right now. Get up, run away from the computer, and don't listen to anything else I have to say. For you traders that put stops in and know the risks, rock and roll. Let's go. Video 1367. Before we even get into what's coming up, how about this? Oscar's Market Navigational Indicator. How about a round of applause for the navigation we have seen OMNI give us for these last couple of weeks? I mean, oh my God, what else could you ask for? Now, we know not every trade is going to win, but in this insane volatility, OMNI is just picking off these markets. So, bravo, OMNI. So we know this. Head down, nose to the grindstone, on to the next trade. That's all we know, right? We'll look up a few months from now and see what we've done. But bravo, OMNI. Thank you for not throwing us in front of a train these last couple of weeks. So, traders, what I want to remind you to do in this video, because believe me, you've seen a whole lot of it already, write to your politicians about the Volcker Rule, Dodd-Frank liquidity situation. I don't care what anyone out there tells you. This is my 35th year. I know these markets well. I know the internals of these markets. When Dodd-Frank Rule took the liquidity, took the market makers who create liquidity out of our markets, they put a hole in the core of these markets. You've seen many videos from me about this topic. You've seen many warnings about what will happen on the way down if they do not do something about this. And what have you seen? Have I been wrong even slightly? Have you seen these vacuums, the way it just pulls down with no buying in sight at all? This is during a bull market, traders. God forbid we go into a bear market. The way the bottom falls out with this liquidity situation, thank you, Dodd-Frank Rule, you have not seen anything yet. You have not even seen the tip of the iceberg. We could trade down thousands of points in days in the S&P. Really scary. So I want you to make sure you send these last few videos to your politicians. Write to these guys. Tell them the Volcker Rule, the Dodd-Frank Rule, this is good stuff for our markets. It does protect the consumer in many ways. But when you remove the liquidity out of our markets, you are hurting the consumer big time. Please do something about it. All right, so what else is on the board? The gold bear flag working well, huh? How about the way OMNI flipped and went short gold? And that worked really well. I've got a chart I'd like to show you in gold to show you where we think it's going to go next. A couple of quick charts to show you what we think the indices will do. Remember this, one of the biggest USA holidays of the year. All the fund managers that have vacation homes, they're up in the Hamptons, up in the Poconos, they're out at the Jersey Shore, they're out in Chicago, all along the water. They are everywhere where they have a house, but they are not in the marketplace. We are closed on Monday. Most likely not much will happen tomorrow on Friday. We do expect gold to go lower, so you should take some time off and come back at this on Tuesday and let the markets get back to normal. Traders, come on down to livewithoscar.com. Join my platinum membership. That is when I will give you the OMNI Oscar's Market Navigational Indicator. I will give you the trading signals that come directly to me. As I receive them, I'll send them right out to you. Come on down to livewithoscar.com. Come into the trading room and see what that's about. All right, traders, with no further ado, let's go look at some charts. Okay, traders, EMINI S&P Weekly bar. Does this look familiar? This is where it all began. If you remember, I showed you this chart when it looked like this, and I said, flat tops produce market drops and Oscarism. This was a flat top. Look what happened here. This is a flat top. This one took 25 weeks to develop before it dropped. We are on week 25. I think we're dropping, and then this happened, and we dropped dramatically, right? So bravo for that little piece of analysis. And let's move forward to what's going on now. Dow Jones Industrial Average Weekly Bar and the Omni Trading Academy's proprietary moving average, or OTAPMA. If you'll note, on the weekly, you tend to hold OTAPMA. You do not penetrate. Since we've penetrated OTAPMA, the move has gotten bigger, larger. The volatility has gotten like this. The daily ranges are like this. And let me tell you right now, the HFT, the high-frequency traders, and the funds are beginning to tee off on this market because they are all recognizing the same thing I've been warning us about, that the Dodd-Frank rule, which removed market makers, is allowing them to push this down with no support at all. No one in here buying it, no market makers. It's getting like this during the day, and they're going to be able to push this down and cost trillions of dollars of damage if somebody doesn't help me and get DC's attention on what's going on in these markets. Dow Jones Transportation Average Weekly. Remember this? We called it the new chart masterpiece, the three little flags. I showed this to you when the third flag was just forming. Well, it formed below OTAPMA, and look at the break that happened since. We are now right here. This does not look good. The projections are much, much lower. We've already had one decent projection get hit, but we are below the Omni Trading Academy's proprietary moving average. And I think if you ask me, the market stays below, especially with our liquidity problem. Now, I can say this. We do know that the pros I told you about, all the big boys, the first-string players that are up in the Hamptons and playing in their summer homes wherever they belong, they're all going to come back in and see the carnal damage that's been done over the summertime. They may take this right back up after the holiday. Do not fall in love with the downside until we see how the first string players handle the ball when they all get back to work. If you've watched all of the football that's been on, American football, for the last couple of weeks, it's all preseason. It's all second and third string players. And I kid you not, when you've got second and third string players playing with the ball, you do not get the same results when the first string players come back. So they may take this and turn it straight back up. Be very cautious when you come back on Tuesday. Let's look at another chart. Traders, the Russell 2000 on the weekly is absolutely no different. Generally, you would hold when you hit the Omni Trading Academy's proprietary moving average, but not in this instance. We broke down pretty hard. It does not look like it's going to run right back up. Again, like I said, you never know if the big boys are going to do that, but technical analysis tells us we've got more downside coming. I don't like what that looks like. Then we switch gears. We go off to the big yellow metal, right? All that glitters is gold. Wrong. Big bear flag, the same one I showed you in last night's video. This bar did not exist, however. I showed you the flag. I said, now it's official. We're going short, and this is what happened. Bravo for the wonderful call. Omni gave us a sell Omni, a red Omni, and then the bear flag. So beautiful trade. We are looking for more downside on Friday before the market closes for the holiday weekend. So traders, you have seen the chart. You've got my technical argument for why I feel the bear flag is working real well in gold and down we should go. And you see what it looks like underneath the Omni Trading Academy's proprietary moving average. OTAPMA does not look good now that we're below that. On the weeklies, the dailies, we're below it this much. Traders, I kid you not, please help me write to your politicians. The liquidity situation is bad news on the downside. You've seen it already. The high-frequency traders, the HFT guys and the big funds, they're starting to tee off on this market, and there'll be no stopping them because think about it. Who would be in there buying without the market makers? The funds are all going to be pointing in the same direction, down. We're going to look to get short. Who's going to buy this? no market makers. This, I kid you not, was market suicide, guys. Talk to your politicians. I am not telling them to completely repeal the entire act. Just allow market-making mechanism to come back into our markets before they punch a big, dark hole in the S&P. Traders, have a great weekend. Have a great day off. We have the Labor Day weekend holiday on Monday, so we all come back to this bad boy on Tuesday. Make sure in between now and then you join the Platinum membership so that when the markets open on Monday night into Tuesday, I can give you the first signal we're going to trade. Traders, come on down to livewithoscar.com. Remember, hang out with me in my free chat room. Keep your emotions out of trading. I know it's very emotional out there. One of the best things you can do with helping yourselves with keeping those insane emotions at bay is say this to yourselves every morning, every afternoon, every evening, and you know what that is. Stops are in. Emotions are out. Traders, rock and roll. Whoever stuck around, we are expecting the gold to break into the 1111 area on Friday. Let's see what happens. Futures trading is risky and can cause substantial financial loss. We do not claim or guarantee that you will profit from the information provided.